Hi guys, today for a review I have Panasonic GH5s. This is the latest flagship from Panasonic. At this point Panasonic has 3 flagship models and I will explain what is happening here. First, at the beginning of 2017 they released the GH5 model. 20 megapixels, IBIS, 4K 60p video and many other excellent features. You can click here and see our review of that camera. GH5 is the best camera if you need both still image and video recording in the same device. Maybe a year later they released a second camera, the G9. We have it here also, and you can click here for the review of that camera. This one is made particularly for still image shooters. This camera has a bit different ergonomics. It has bigger grip, better control layout, high resolution 80 megapixel mode and many others. This camera also records 4K 60p, but this is primarily a camera for still photography. Finally, at the beginning of 2018, Panasonic released this one, and this is the one that I will review in this video, GH5s. This camera is made primarily for video recording. It can also take excellent still images, but this is primarily a professional video camera. Ergonomics is excellent. The camera is rather big and heavy for Micro Four Thirds standards. It has a big and well-shaped grip. All the controls are in a place. There are 3 control dials and many of the buttons can be customized. At the back you can see articulated 3-inch LCD monitor. It has perfect viewing quality and also touch control. It can be rotated to the front, which is excellent for video logs. Above the LCD there is a big electronic viewfinder. It is one of the best viewfinders on the market, extremely big with 3.7 million dots and old technology. Image quality from GH5s is excellent. It has relatively low 10 megapixels. I say relatively low for 2018. Sensors like 20 and more megapixels are usual. But the less megapixels, usually the sensor performs better in low light. And that is the case also with GH5s. I have compared it with G9 and I can tell you at high ISO values 6400 to 12800, GH5s is visibly better. So for example, if you shoot sports, wildlife or anything that moves, you will have to use high shutter speed. In that case, in-body stabilization from G9 is worthless, so you will have to use high shutter speed. In such scenario, it is better to have GH5s since it has very high quality, high ISO values. As for video recording, I will say it right at the start, and this is best camera for video I have tried so far. 4K video at 60 frames per second looks fantastic. It is extremely detailed. No artifacts, no moire of course, and I'm especially astounded how good this camera performs in video in low light. As you can see right now, I have compared it with the G9. G9 looks, I would say, maybe usable, but GH5s is so much cleaner. But even more, I have compared it with Canon full-frame 6D Mark II and 5D Mark IV, and at ISO 12800, you can see right now these samples, GH5s is visibly cleaner and with better color reproduction. So Panasonic really put maximum effort to create an exceptional video camera, and they have succeeded. I want to point out this is one of the rare cameras on the market that records 4K at 60 frames per second. The other cameras being also Panasonic G9 and GH5, and from other brands only Canon in 1DX Mark II model offers 4K 60p, but that camera is approximately 2 or 3 times more expensive than the GH5s. One detail is particularly interesting on this camera, and that is the fact the sensor is actually bigger than the projecting circle from Micro Four Thirds lenses. So when you change image ratios, native ratio is 4:3. If, for example, you pick 3:2 or wide angle 16:9, this camera will have equal diagonal angle of view. If you compare 4K video with Cinema 4K, which is slightly wider, 17:9 aspect ratio, you will get even slightly wider video. Due to that fact, camera will give a wider angle view than the G9 or GH5 would with the same lens. So if you like to shoot on really wide lenses, something like 7-8 millimeters, what is 14 or maybe 15-16 millimeter equivalent in full frame, GH5s is better choice than GH5 or the G9. For the end, I can say I'm properly impressed with the GH5s. For video recording, this is definitely the best camera you can buy right now, March 2018, and it will probably stay that way for quite some time. Also, if you do photography, this camera can do it without any issues. Of course, there is only 10 megapixels, but there are a lot of photographers that do not need high resolution, so this camera would be also good for them. That's about everything for this review. Press like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.